Saul Canelo Alvarez has forged one of the most remarkable careers in modern boxing. At 33, the Mexican superstar has faced nearly all of the top fighters of his generation and claimed titles in 4 different weight divisions. With a resume that includes numerous world champions and memorable bouts, Alvarez has unquestionably secured his place among the sport's all-time greats and in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. In this retrospective, we explore the most challenging encounters in Canelo's career, battles that tested his adaptability, endurance, and grit against some of the most formidable names in the sport. One of the most stylistically difficult opponents Canelo ever faced was Erislandy Lara. Their encounter was a tactical battle rather than a spectacle of brute force. Lara, a Cuban southpaw with sharp footwork, slick defense, and technical finesse, presented a style that proved particularly troublesome for Alvarez. Unlike the aggressive fighters Canelo thrives against, those who come forward and exchange, Lara's movement and precision turned the ring into a chessboard. Canelo, typically a counterpuncher, was forced to lead the action and attempt to cut off the elusive Lara, who consistently slipped punches and fired back with sharp counters. Despite his efforts, Alvarez struggled to land clean, effective shots, while Lara kept the Mexican off balance, often controlling the distance and pace. It was a closely contested fight that revealed the difficulty Canelo had with mobile, technical opponents. In the middle rounds, however, Alvarez found some success and opened a cut on Lara that hampered the Cuban's rhythm. Still, the match remained razor-thin throughout, with both fighters claiming moral victories in different aspects of the contest. When the final bell rang, the decision was split, 117 to 111 and 115 to 113 for Alvarez, and one card reading 115 to 113 for Lara. Many observers believed the Cuban had done enough to win, or at least deserved a draw, while Lara himself voiced his dissatisfaction and called for a rematch that never came. The fight remains one of the most debated outcomes in Canelo's career. Another saga that shaped Alvarez's legacy was his 2-fight series with Gennady "GGG" Golovkin, one of the most powerful and technically gifted middleweights of the modern era. Their first meeting in September 2017 was a highly anticipated clash between 2 of boxing's elite. Golovkin, known for his relentless pressure and iron chin, took the initiative from the outset. Canelo, by contrast, focused on defense and counterpunching, showing excellent head movement and defensive awareness. While Alvarez displayed superior accuracy and economy of movement, Golovkin's volume and consistent forward pressure made him appear the busier fighter. Over the course of 12 rounds, both men landed flush shots that would have felled lesser opponents, yet neither buckled. The action was competitive, but most analysts gave the edge to Golovkin based on his aggression and ring generalship. The final result, a controversial draw, sparked widespread criticism. One judge's card of 118 to 110 for Canelo drew particular ire, undermining the legitimacy of what had otherwise been a thrilling, evenly matched contest. Many neutral observers scored the bout in favor of Golovkin, with some margins as wide as 116 to 112. The perception that the Kazakh had been robbed only intensified the anticipation for the rematch, which took place nearly exactly 1 year later. The second fight delivered equally intense action but featured significant tactical adjustments. This time, Alvarez opted to meet Golovkin head-on, fighting aggressively and refusing to backpedal. By taking the center of the ring and applying sustained pressure, he turned the tables on Golovkin, forcing the traditionally offensive fighter into the unfamiliar role of counterpuncher. Canelo's power shots were cleaner, and his willingness to trade in close quarters allowed him to control the tempo in many rounds. Golovkin, while still effective, found it harder to dominate as he had in their first meeting. The late rounds saw a resurgence from the Kazakh, who, sensing the fight slipping away, ramped up his output and forced several intense exchanges. Still, Alvarez's early round dominance and his bold strategy switch won him favor on the scorecards. The result was a majority decision victory for Canelo, 115 to 113 twice, and one even card at 114-114. The rematch was less controversial, And while some fans still leaned toward Golovkin's case, the consensus recognized Alvarez's adaptability and tactical growth. In facing the same elite opponent with two contrasting strategies, Canelo proved his ability to evolve at the highest level of competition. Another notable trial for Canelo came in April 2013, when he squared off against Austin Trout. The American, then an undefeated champion, presented a similar set of challenges as Lara, a defensive-minded boxer with strong movement and a sharp jab. Early in the fight, Trout kept Alvarez at bay with footwork and combination punching, landing often and frustrating the Mexican's rhythm. Alvarez struggled to cut off the ring and consistently connect with clean shots, particularly in the opening half of the bout. However, Alvarez managed to turn the tide in the 7th round with a pivotal knockdown. Although Trout rose and continued to fight effectively, the psychological shift was palpable. Canelo began to time his attacks better and landed with greater authority. Trout remained active and landed more punches overall, but Alvarez's punches carried more weight and visual impact. The fight remained close and tactical until the final bell. The judges rendered a unanimous decision for Alvarez with scores of 115 to 112, 116 to 111, and an arguably too wide 118 to 109. A more conservative score, such as 114 to 113, might have reflected the closeness of the contest more accurately. In May 2019, Alvarez stepped into the ring with Daniel Jacobs, a skilled and athletic middleweight known for his speed and versatility. Jacobs, taller and with a longer reach, employed a smart game plan that included stance switching and lateral movement. His ability to box from range and mix in counterattacks forced Alvarez to once again assume the role of aggressor. Early in the fight, Jacobs found success in neutralizing Canelo's advances and landing clean shots, particularly to the body. Despite Jacobs' efforts, Alvarez's composure and ring IQ began to show in the middle rounds. He adjusted his timing, worked the body, and found success with single, accurate power punches. While Jacobs was more active in terms of output, Canelo's precision and defensive work kept him in control of the bout. The fight remained competitive, with neither man able to dominate the other completely. In the championship rounds, Jacobs pushed forward with increased urgency, but Alvarez's superior timing and subtle defensive moves prevented any major momentum shifts. After 12 rounds, the judges awarded Alvarez a unanimous decision, 115 to 113 on 2 cards and 116 to 112 on the 3rd. Jacobs accepted the result with grace, acknowledging Alvarez's skill and showing class in defeat. It was another example of Canelo's ability to neutralize talented, athletic opponents through patience and calculated aggression. Taken together, these fights form the backbone of Canelo Alvarez's legacy. Against Lara and Trout, he overcame stylistic difficulties with fighters who used speed and movement to create space and avoid damage. These fights tested his ability to remain patient, make adjustments, and rely on subtle improvements rather than overwhelming power. The Golovkin duology, meanwhile, showcased Canelo's evolution in the ring. In the first fight, he relied on defense and economy. In the second, he fought fire with fire, meeting one of the most feared punchers in the sport with calculated aggression and body shots. These performances solidified him as more than just a counterpuncher. They proved he could lead, adapt, and evolve on boxing's biggest stages. His bout with Jacobs further highlighted Canelo's versatility. Jacobs brought a modern hybrid style to the ring, switching stances, blending speed with tactical nuance, and yet Alvarez maintained control through steady pressure, defense, and intelligent punch selection. He demonstrated not only physical durability but also mental focus over 12 demanding rounds. In each of these contests, Canelo Alvarez showed that greatness in boxing isn't defined solely by knockouts or dominance. It's often built through close decisions, hard-earned victories, and the courage to step into the ring with opponents who present unique challenges. While his career includes emphatic wins and dramatic knockouts, it's these difficult fights that best define his journey as a fighter. They reflect his willingness to grow, take risks, and learn from adversity, qualities that have elevated him from champion to legend. As boxing continues to evolve, Canelo Alvarez's name remains etched among its elite, a testament to the heart, skill, and ambition that have driven his iconic career.